Is this thing on? Hello, hello? Uh-oh. Another yapper with a mic. Hello, everyone, and welcome back to the Napkin In Between podcast. I am your host, Dejanay Jones. We are, when this video goes out, about a week into the new year. Hope everything is going great for everyone. And everyone had a great and peaceful holiday season for whichever holidays you celebrate and however you decided to celebrate. I decided to do things a little bit different this holiday season. I spent Christmas Day completely not by myself. I was with me and my dog, who is here. For the audio listeners, you can't see, but my dog Luna is here joining us today. I decided not to travel home to Atlanta for Christmas this year. I just didn't feel like traveling this year. I wanted to stay home with my dog because I always get a little bit of mom guilt, I guess, whenever I travel for the holidays and leave her with strangers. I always worry a little bit because Luna is a very reactive dog. She's very hyper, and I worry that people get annoyed with that, and I'm like, how are they treating her when I'm not there? And I've never had any complaints from her sitters or anything like that, but like, you never know. And so I always feel a little bit guilty, especially around the holidays, leaving her with other people. So I said, you know what, this year I'm just going to stay home with Luna and we're going to have a Christmas just me and her. And it was perfect. It was perfect. We watched The Grinch. I had some hot cocoa. She got extra TREATS. I don't want to say the word because she'll get excited. But she got extra of those, and it was just me and her, and it was a great holiday. So however you guys decided to celebrate your holiday season, I know some people don't really have the choice on whether or not they want to travel due to not having family or, being no contact with your family. So however you decided to celebrate this holiday season, I hope that it was peaceful and enjoyable. Now that that's out of the way, what are we going to talk about today? Assuming that most of you are here from TikTok, or you've seen any of my TikTok videos, more often than not, in every single one of my TikTok videos, I am shading Jennifer Lopez. And I always get comments and questions of like, can we get the backstory? Like, what is the tea with you and J-Lo? And I am finally going to tell y'all what started my dislike for Jennifer Lopez. Before we get into that, though, there are a few things that I want to talk about, some things that I've seen online that I want to weigh in on a little bit. So the first thing that I want to talk about is the woman who was burned alive on the New York City subway. If you don't know what I'm talking about, on December 22nd of 2024, around 7:30 a.m., there was a woman who was asleep on the F train subway at the Stillwell Ave station in Brooklyn, and sitting across from her was a man. It was only those two on the train car. So the man was sitting across from the sleeping woman. He then gets up, lights her clothes and the blanket that she was using on fire, and leaves the subway car, sits on the bench of the platform, and essentially watches her burned to death. The man has been identified, the suspect. He is Sebastian Zapita, who is 33 and undocumented in the U.S. from Guatemala. There are reports that he was deported from the U.S. in 2018 and then re-entered at some point. It's unknown when he re-entered the country, but he re-entered the country, and he is being charged with first and second-degree murder as well as arson charges. As for the victim, she is still unidentified. I know that there's this identity going around on social media that the woman's name is Amelia Carter. I'm not exactly sure where that started. From what I've seen online, people are saying that the right and conservatives have started this fake identity of this woman being Amelia Carter, who was this 20-something-year-old nurse, but no credible sources have identified this woman yet because of the degree to which she was burned to. Getting her identity has been very difficult for them. They're trying to use more advanced tactics to identify this woman, but as of right now, when I'm filming this, which is December 28th, from what I have researched and what I've seen from credible sources, this woman has not been identified. But it is very interesting, the right is trying to say that this woman is some white woman who is a nurse and all of these things, because they've also been using this woman's death as an excuse to further push this agenda that there is a massive problem with illegal immigrants in this country, and President Biden and Vice President Kamala Harris left the border wide open, so that all of these criminals can come into the U.S. Do I know that it for sure that, the right have started this fake identity? No. But it doesn't surprise me because, again, it gives them a chance to push this agenda, which is genuinely just them being racist, right? It's really frustrating to see the right politicize yet another young woman's death. We saw this earlier this year. Last year. I'm getting confused because I'm filming this still in 2024, but it'll come out in 2025. So if I misspeak, I apologize. We saw this last year with Laken Riley, whose family literally asked the right to not politicize her death, to not make it, this crazy political thing. And they did it anyway because, again, all they want to do is further push their racist agenda. That there's this huge issue with illegals coming into the country. I've said it before and I'll say it again. You cannot make me care about illegal immigrants in this country because this country was founded on illegal immigrants. There have been illegal immigrants in this country since 1492, when Christopher Columbus and his crew came here and started murdering, raping, stealing land from the Native Americans because he thought he was on his way to India and put the address in the GPS wrong. And my issue with conservatives and the right and we have so many illegal immigrants in this country is that as long as the illegal immigrant is dark enough, that's the only time that they care. When the illegal immigrant is white, they don't care. It's like they have their own version of the paper bag test, but it's like the piece of paper test. As long as the immigrant is darker than the piece of paper, it's an issue and we need to address it. But as long as they're not darker than the piece of paper, they don't care. We see this with Elon Musk, who is an American citizen now, yes. But when he came to America, he came here illegally. And when you point that out to them, that Elon Musk came to this country illegally, most of them don't even know that. Most of them have no idea that he is from South Africa and that he was not born here. I made a video a few weeks ago and I was like, when are you guys going to start telling Elon Musk to go back to Africa? So many people in the comments, why would we tell him to go back to Africa? He's white. What do you, this is racist. That's what they were saying to me in my comments. And I'm like, you guys don't even know that man is not even from here. And so that's why whenever they get on this fucking rant of, oh my God, we have so many illegals in this country, shut up. Because you like to pick and choose when you care about the illegal immigrants, and it's only ever when you can push your racist agenda. So you can't make me care. Until we start caring about all of the illegal immigrants, you can't make me care. That's number one. Number two, the actual issue that we have is of violence from men. More than an illegal immigrant problem, there is a problem with men and their violence against women. That is what they do not want to address, because when we get to addressing that, when we get to say, okay, this is the actual issue, what comes from that is them having to come to terms with the fact that a lot of this violence is from white men. They're not trying to hear that. They're not trying to address that. Because when we start to address that, it makes them have to actually hold themselves accountable. Because a lot of these people who are like, we have this problem, it's white men. And they always struggle with detaching themselves. Probably they can't detach themselves from it because they're also very fucking violent. Let's start there. So not only do they have to see themselves portrayed as the problem, they can't detach because they are the problem. And having to come to terms with that, to hold yourself accountable, they can't do it. So instead of addressing the actual issue, which is the violence from men, they want to push it on oh, we have this illegal immigrant problem. When we start to look at the real problem, that is also when I will start to care. When you guys start to say, okay, the problem in this country is white men, then we can talk. But until then, stop pushing your racist agendas on these poor women who lose their lives so that it can fit your agenda. Let me know when you all are ready to have that conversation. Speaking of men and their violence against women, it is a little disturbing how effortlessly that just flowed into the next thing that I want to talk about. I want to talk about Blake Lively and the lawsuit that she filed against Justin Baldoni. For those of you who may not know, Blake Lively recently starred in a movie called It Ends With Us, which is the screen adaptation of a book by Colleen Hoover. Blake Lively has filed a lawsuit against Justin Baldoni, who was her co-star and also the director of the movie, for sexual harassment, and she also alleges that he orchestrated a smear campaign to destroy her reputation. Now, I want to check myself a little bit, because when I first saw about this lawsuit, The only thing that I saw was that she was suing him for this alleged smear campaign that he had orchestrated to ruin her reputation. And when I saw that, my immediate thought was, girl, be for real. In my brain, I had thought, like, in order to ruin a reputation, you have to have a good reputation to ruin. And I'm like, is the good reputation in the room with us now? In my opinion, Blake Lively is not that good of a person. She got married on a plantation. She is well known for putting her foot in her mouth in interviews. And so I'm just like, girl, what are you even talking about? Like, be so for real. And that led me to, not saying that I didn't believe her, I didn't even look further into the lawsuit, which is a problem, right? Because there is so much more that she is suing him about, more than just this smear campaign. And the fact that, like, that's all I saw, and then I was just like, okay, whatever, that's a problem, right? It makes it so that her story is not heard, because so many of us, I feel, stopped at that point and didn't look any further into the lawsuit and what she was suing him for. And when you look into the lawsuit, it's actually quite disturbing, the things that she is alleging happened on set. I saw that she is alleging that Justin Baldoni and his business partners would come into her trailer unannounced when she was in various states of undress. Justin Baldoni was attempting to add in sex scenes that weren't in the book and weren't pre-approved by Blake Lively. He wanted her to be undressed from the waist down in one scene, which the only scene that I can think of, because I've read the book and I also saw the movie, the only scene that I can think of for that would be when she had given birth, and there was no reason for her to be undressed. She was covered by a blanket and they were just chilling in the hospital bed. No reason for her to be undressed. So that's weird. She's alleging that he would comment on how good she and other crew looked, and any woman who's been in the workplace, like, we've all, I feel, unfortunately, have gotten weird comments from our coworkers about our appearance and things like it's just weird. And like I said, I feel like so many people, myself included, I'm checking myself here as well, didn't even look into what she was actually saying, because we already have this thought like, oh, Blake Lively is not a good person. And as I say all the time, multiple things can be true at once. Blake Lively, in my opinion, was not a good fit to portray Lily in this movie, because I fear Blake Lively is very out of touch. And so she struggles with getting the real message across of what this movie was really all about. Like, she, in an interview, was like, oh, wear your florals, take your girlfriends, make it a girls' night out. And it's like, girl, this movie is about domestic violence. This movie is about how easy it can be to get trapped in a domestic violence situation because you're either blaming yourself, like, if I didn't do A, B, and C, then it wouldn't have happened, or it'll get better the next time. Like, there's a really important story behind the movie and the book. And because I fear she's so out of touch, she's not the person to be able to actually tell that story and understand the gravity of the story. So while I believe that, yes, it is true that she was not a good person to portray this character, it is also true that she should not have faced sexual harassment while filming. And it makes me wonder, because again, Blake Lively is known to not have, like, the best track record or the best background. If Justin Baldoni really wanted to, like, smear her reputation, really all he had to do was let her talk, right? Because again, she's not really good at portraying the importance of a character as deep and as complicated and as necessary as Lily. Again, we saw that with the florals and different things like that. So if he really wanted her reputation to be quote unquote ruined, like, he could have just let her talk. But what I'm getting at is, it makes me wonder, because I do not have any trust in men. I think that men are disgusting and vile and just not good humans. So it's making me wonder, like, if he targeted her because he had in the back of his mind that people would not view her as the perfect victim, so then they wouldn't believe her or even go and actually look at what she was alleging. Again, this is just my opinion and I don't know what happened, but I'm wondering if that was the case, if he in some way thought in the back of his head, like, I can do these things, I have the power to do these things, because people already look at Blake Lively as not a good person, which is disgusting. Like, again, we can all agree, maybe Blake Lively isn't the best person. She still does not deserve to be sexually harassed on set when she's trying to do her job. And it goes back to this theory of the perfect victim. What is the perfect victim, right? There is no perfect victim. But people tend to try to poke holes or find fault or not believe a woman when she says that she was sexually assaulted, or not even look into like what she's saying and listening, taking the time to listen to her story, because she already has this image or whatever. But I just want to encourage everyone to look into the case, read what she's alleging, and don't just write it off. And I'm speaking to myself here too, because I'm owning the fact that I did this and it was wrong. Yes, she's done some very questionable things in the past. Still does not mean that she deserves sexual harassment. And speaking of someone who is not a good person, ooh, girl, I'm eating these segues up today. Wait. Let's talk about our friend Jennifer. And when I say friend, I actually mean arch nemesis. Now, before we get into it, I want to say that everything that I'm about to say is alleged. But this is why I have such an issue with J-Lo. My very first sign that I just did not fuck with this lady is from the movie Selena. Now, I don't know if you guys know that movie. If you don't, you're living under a fucking rock. But Selena is a movie based off of the life of Selena Quintanilla Perez, who was a Tejano singer who was killed by her fan club president, who actually is up for parole this year. Crazy. Anyway, that is one of my favorite movies of all time. I love that movie, and J-Lo plays Selena in the movie. And my brother told me, and I've actually never fact-checked this, so I don't even know if this is true, because my brother do be lying. But my brother told me that she had asked the director of the movie if instead of lip-syncing to Selena's songs, she could do the vocals herself. I'm finding it. Had I been that fucking director, I would have been like, girl, do not piss me off. Do not piss me off. Are you fucking crazy? Selena. We're talking about Selena. If you don't know who Selena is, please go look her up. Selena Quintanilla. Go look her up. She is an icon, a legend, amazing singer. J-Lo didn't want to lip sync to her songs, allegedly. She wanted to sing them herself and have those in the movie rather than Selena's actual voice. That is just so fucking disrespectful to me. To even have the audacity to think to ask that question, I dead ass, if I was the director, I would have told her, you are fired. I know they auditioned other women to play Selena. I would have called whoever else up, because bitch, get the fuck out of my face. I would have been like, get this degenerate bitch off my fucking set. Like, oh, I'm getting mad just thinking about it. But this was genuinely my villain origin story, because you are like, why would you even ask that? That is the craziest thing to ask fucking ever. Oh my God, I'm like getting hot. Like, I'm getting so angry just thinking about it, because how disrespectful. You're blessed to even get this fucking role. How disrespectful is it for you to be like, actually, I want to do the vocals? Bitch, suck my fucking dick. Are you kidding me? So ever since then, I was like, I don't fucking like this bitch. And then I just learned more and more and more about her. And the more I learned about her, the less I liked her, because why do you act like that? Why do you act like that? Like, you are just, I can't even say it into words. Like, she just like, let me calm down. Whew. I need to take a deep breath. I don't know what it is that makes her think that that is okay to behave like that. I don't know if it's like she's entitled. I don't know if she's just like she feels like there's no stupid questions. Sometimes there is stupid fucking questions. And you asking to do the vocals was one of them, bitch. Given that in your own songs, you don't even do the fucking vocals. I know the movie Selena was before the singing, but like, bitch, you don't even do your own fucking vocals. Why do you want to, like, don't piss me off. Let's do a story time on the first time I shaded J-Lo, because I honestly didn't expect the reaction that I got. So I had come across this video of a Trump supporter. It was like, I don't know, 5-6 months before the election. And I've said it before and I'll say it again. Trump supporters act like they are in a fucking cult. Like, the way that they essentially worship that man and like he can do no wrong It's very weird. It's very odd. It's very cultish. So I had come across this video and I was going to clap back. I can't remember exactly what they were doing, but they were doing something that was like very cultish. And I remember saying in my video that there were 3 things that you could never convince me of. 1, you could never convince me that I am not that bitch. 2, you cannot convince me that JLo should have ever thought she could have sold out a concert tour. And 3, you could never convince me that Trump supporters are not in a cult. And when I said that, I thought that I would get like a few giggles. But the amount of people who were like, oh my God, I love the JLo stray, not the JLo stray. Yes, we love the JLo stray. I was like, I have found my fucking people. And so from that point on, I was like, I'm just going to keep throwing shade at her, figure out a way to incorporate it into, you know, most of my videos of throwing shade at JLo. And you guys eat it up every time. I fucking love it. I'm just like, oh, I found my people. I found my people. Because like I said last time, it's always been so hard for me to niche down, but I was like, maybe this is my niche. Maybe throwing shade at JLo is my niche. And I love that for me because I'm doing it for me, obviously, but I'm also doing it for all the black women that she has stolen from, allegedly. And that is my biggest issue with JLo, is that she has built this entire career off of stealing from black women. She is like the personification of everything that is a setback for black women. Like, we can never do anything because there's always someone looking to steal from us or copy us or do something, and then they get all the fucking credit for the shit that we fucking do. If you guys don't know, JLo allegedly is known for stealing vocals for some of her major songs. Songs like I'm Real, Jenny from the Block. She used other people's vocals for those songs and passed them as her own. And that is something that happens so often with black women. And people just like to disregard it and like say that black women are doing too much by calling it out. But there are people who have made entire careers off of black women. And it's so fucking annoying because, like, leave us alone. Like, leave us alone. Let us live. Let us do our thing. We cannot do one single thing without people stealing from us or copying us. And mind you, the same things that they praise on other people who are not black, they shame us for. Our full lips, our big butts, our whatever. On us, they hate it. But on anyone else, it's the most attractive thing in the world. And it just pisses me off so much. And I think for me, JLo is like a personification of that. And then, like, the more I just learned about her, I'm just like, who is this bitch and why was she able to get so fucking far in the industry? I don't understand why she was able to steal so many people's spotlight and literal voices, allegedly, and make this entire multi-million-dollar career off of doing this much fucking work. That makes me so fucking angry for black women, because it's like, black women work so hard. We are like the hardest working group of people, and we have to work twice as hard to get half as much. And then someone can come along and literally steal your fucking voice and make a huge career out of it. Like, oh my God, it just pisses me off so much. It pisses me off so much. So I throw shade at her because I do it for me because it brings me enjoyment, but I also do it for all of the black women that she's snubbed or stolen from or tried to steal from. I need to snatch her wig every chance that I get. Does she see my videos? Probably not, right? She doesn't even know who I am. But it makes me feel like I'm doing something. It makes me feel like I'm giving a voice back to all the black women that she stole from. So I have no intention of ever stopping snatching her wig unless she like sends me a cease and desist, and I guess I'll have to stop. But for the time being, I plan to snatch that lady's wig every chance I get. And I love that you guys love it so much, because when the first time I did it, again, I was just like, maybe a few people will like it, whatever. But now it's gotten to the point where if I post a video and I don't throw shade at her, so many people in the comments, where's the JLo slander? I missed my daily dose of JLo slander, da-da-da-da. I'm like, okay, let me figure out a way to put more JLo slander out there. But it's definitely, it's a full-time job, and I love it. And I clock in every day, or every chance that I get, sometimes I do overtime, to throw shade at that lady because she deserves it. She deserves it. She does not deserve this career that she's built. Even like if she wanted to have a career, she could have just stuck to acting. She's not a bad actress. Like, the movie Selena, she's pretty good. Made in Manhattan, cute little role. Enough. I was like, okay, bitch, like, beat his ass. Like, we love that. Like, she's not a bad actress, so why not just focus on that? Why steal from other people when you could do this thing and make it the best that you can make it? I just think if you have to steal from other people in order to gain a career, you're not that fucking bitch. And you need to know that you're not that bitch. And if I have to be the one to tell you you're not that bitch, I will happily tell you that you are not that fucking bitch. So that is the backstory. I'm like sweating now. I'm so angry because every time I think about it, it's just like, it truly does piss me off that Black women are just so undervalued and so taken advantage of and so just not appreciated. And so I hope that even if it has never crossed J-Lo's For You page or whatever, I hope that maybe the other Black women that she shaded, like Mariah Carey and, you know, others, I hope maybe they see it and they get a good, like, laugh out of it. Because obviously, like, there's nothing I could do to take away the history there. But if I can make their lives a little more enjoyable by throwing shade and being like, bitch, we know what you fucking did, then that makes me feel a little bit better for them. And I hope it makes them feel a little bit better also. But it's just so discouraging and so sad to see just how much Black women are truly walked over. And I hope she never knows a day of peace. I hope she never knows a day of peace. And there's so many other things, too, that she has allegedly done. I saw that her name was maybe mentioned in the whole P. Diddy case. Like, I don't know if there's any truth to that, but obviously if she was involved in any of that, she should be held accountable for that as well. Anyone who was involved with P. Diddy should go down with him. That's the story. And I just get so tired of seeing Black women, like, walked over and mistreated and stolen from and taken advantage of. And so any time that I can stand up for Black women and snatch somebody's wig for doing that, I absolutely will. And I will do it with a smile on my face every single time. Oh my God, I'm like fucking red and hot. I need to like go calm down. So we're gonna end the episode there. Thank you all for tuning in, and make sure you throw a shot at the orange drink lady today if you haven't already. I'm sure I have already today, but maybe I'll just go make another video and throw more shade at her. Thank you all for tuning in. I hope that you all are having a great day, except for J-Lo, and I will see you all in the next episode. Peace and love. Talk to you later. The Napkin in Between, hosted by Dejanay Jones, produced by Dejanay Jones, post-production by Dejanay Jones, music by Sam Champagne, and graphics by Isma Vidal. Don't forget to like and subscribe. See you next episode.